A lot of sea life make their home in the shallows. Pike blennies can be seen at many sites, cautiously sticking their heads out. Yellowhead jawfish generally come out of their holes a bit more, and razorfish can be seen in large numbers in the shallows. So whenever we see large schools of yellow goatfish, barjacks, surgeonfish, and yellowfin mahara mowing down the sea floor, we just think it's amazing that there is anything left to see. This month we have 5, maybe 6 first-time captures. We'll start things off with this roughback batfish. They are pretty rare on Bonaire, and this one was less than half the size of the short-nosed batfish we saw in 2024. It was only about 2 inches long and blended in very well with the surrounding coral and rocks. Hopefully, it will be around for a while. Hanging on the right side of this cement mooring block is a juvenile spotted spiny lobster. The white and dark banded legs are a telltale sign. We were super excited to see it the first time, and we considered ourselves lucky when we saw it in the same spot a few days later, thinking it had found a good daytime hiding place. That said, we saw it again a few weeks later. At that point, it was either just dead or a molted shell. We're hoping for the latter. The credit goes to Leslie for this one, as she pointed me toward a sponge and gestured there was a shrimp. I thought she was referring to the golden coral shrimp, which is nice and all, but not super spectacular. What she was really referring to was this tiny striped bumblebee shrimp. Had I known what I was supposed to be looking at, I would have shot more footage and switched over to my +15 diopter. So, sadly, you and I are both stuck with this footage. For now. Our 4th new capture is a Caribbean dwarf octopus. I noticed it going down the side of a mooring block on a night dive. The body was about 1 inch in length, although the arms could stretch out much farther, as this hermit crab is about to find out. The crab actually jumps out of its shell in an attempt to escape, but the octopus uses several arms to wrestle it in for dinner. The last one is a short clip of a juvenile ruby brittle star. Swimming slowly over a coral head, I barely noticed its tiny red and white arms slowly crawling across some algae. Focusing was a challenge, given its location, but I did manage to get decent proof that I saw one. And I thought we might include this crab as well. I haven't had any luck identifying what kind it is, so it may or may not be a first-time capture. If you know, or can point us in the right direction, please leave us a comment below. And now, on to some other awesome sea life. Speaking of crabs, we saw a number of box crabs in July. This shameface heart crab was out walking through some algae in the shallows and passed by a 2-spined sea star, which was also kind of interesting, given that those are typically nocturnal. On another dive, Leslie found a pair of them embracing. Sensing they were up to something, we backed off. As soon as we got to a safe distance, they continued with their activity, which definitely looked like mating. We'll keep quiet for a bit and let them finish. We also got some pretty good footage of a rough box crab foraging for food in between some rocks and coral debris. The last one we saw was about a year and a half ago. Check out the way it just bulldozes obstacles out of the way with its claws. We had a couple of interesting octopus encounters in July. This is the first time we've seen one walk like that, while maintaining a pose. We think it's a common octopus. Later in the month, we saw this brownstripe octopus walking as well, albeit without the fancy pose. And I saw a couple of Atlantic longarm octopuses on a night dive. Credit goes to my dive buddy Keith for the spot, although I think I stole most of the good opportunities for video. Thank you, and sorry, Keith. On that same night dive, we came across a very interesting crab carrying a black sponge on its back. This is a redeye sponge crab, and it actually shows the first reasonably sized sponge I've seen in quite a while. Last month, I saw this one lugging around a tube sponge that was clearly very challenging to maneuver. We've seen a few Atlantic Triton's trumpets over the years, but at about 7 or 8 inches long, this was by far the largest. We know they're not particularly sexy and they don't move much, but for us, it made the highlight reel. As long as we're on animals that don't move much, we came across a 3-rowed sea cucumber being buffeted by the surge. As we watched it, we observed a bulge in the body that was moving. We actually caught a sea cucumber crawling. They move as one might think, and while it might be hard to tell here, let's speed it up. Pretty cool, right? Remember last month when I just caught the beady eyes of a squat lobster? Well, we went back to that site and found one that was out further on a sponge grazing. So here is a much better shot. It wouldn't be a monthly summary video without some sort of Leslie animal interaction. She was shooting something as I watched a turtle swim by to check her out. She had no idea, but when she finished and looked up, she was like, "Hey, check out the turtle," which I was already shooting. Finally, in addition to being the year of frogfish, we are seeing a ton more jackknife fish this year as well. The babies are very cute and very tiny. These are only a few millimeters in size. This one gave away the location of a frogfish, which I only noticed because it yawned in the background. Ever see a school of jackknife fish juveniles? We found 10 around this coral head. This sponge had 6, and they weren't the same ones from the previous clip because these were downstream on the same dive. There are just so many right now. I wonder what we'll see in August. Well, this is the part where we ask you to subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you like videos of shy juvenile queen triggerfish using rusty cans for housing, a subscription will ensure that new videos will automatically hit your feed. Thanks! Smiley faces.